What's good, everybody? It's your boy Todd Smith here once again with yet another episode of the No Gimmicks podcast. Alongside my tag team partner Dale Clifford out there in Fernley, Nevada. Dale, what is good, my man?
All right, well, January is finally over, and it was a pretty good month of wrestling, and we finally get a little bit of chance to highlight New Japan in our look back on the month of wrestling.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I didn't quite get to see all of Wrestle Kingdom 11 because I don't have New Japan World, and I didn't get to see Wrestle Kingdom 11 when it aired, so I'm only kind of going along with what Access TV is doing, and I've only seen about half of the card at this point. And I know that you're telling me there's a couple good matches that I've missed out on, and you'll kind of highlight those as we get to that portion of our show. But for this little episode that we're doing here, we're going to look back on the umbrella that is the WWE, which encompasses obviously their main roster on SmackDown, the United K Championship Tournament, NXT, and everything, 205 Live, everything that WWE produced in the month of January. We will wrap into our top matches for January.
And of course, good old Monday Night Raw, but it's easy to forget about Monday Night Raw because sometimes they're not producing the best content from our WWE programming. So while we are on that topic, let's get started here with Sami Zayn, who took on Braun Strowman on Monday Night Raw in a last man standing match. So in this one, Braun Strowman beat the absolute living hell out of Sami Zayn. Kudos to Zayn for working his butt off and helping to get Braun over as a monster. Sami got in a few nice shots, including a few with the kendo stick, which I know would make the ECW legend Sandman proud. Strowman pays tribute to another dominant big man by attacking Sami while he was being stretchered out by the EMTs and knocking him off of the stretcher a la Sid Vicious. Sami gave it his all, but Braun was left as the last man standing in this contest. Dale, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We are doing... No offense to Braun, but he's still a little green, and he basically is just a monster.
Oh, he
with
is.
Some monster power moves. But it's kind of interesting and kind of cool a little bit to have a top matches of recap and say Braun Strowman is in one of them. But again, you got to look at who he was working with, and a lot of credit has to go to Sami Zayn, who absolutely just basically became the crash dummy for Braun Strowman in the this last man standing match, and I just thought that the psychology of it was great. They beat each other all the way into the back and then back out again, and I just thought there was a good story there. And then obviously you had the story between Zayn and Foley that unfolded at the end of it. But yeah, just all the credit goes to Zayn here, but definitely you saw Braun do what Braun does, and that is just beat people up.
Yes, just absolutely obliterate people. So moving on here to our next match on our top matches of January from the WWE, we had Kevin Owens taking on Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal title at the 2017 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So lots of creative violence on display here, including KO's fraud splash to Reigns through a table, paying a little bit of homage to another ECW legend, Rob Van Dam, in the process. And we also got him spilling through the pyramid of chairs, which he constructed on the outside of the ring. Surprisingly, Chris Jericho opted not to utilize the U.S. title as a weapon in this one, but brass knuckles instead. Strowman made his presence felt by attempting to choke slam Roman Reigns to the announce table. Unfortunately, the table did not break for Reigns. Roman Superman punched himself until his heart was content, but unfortunately it just was not enough, and KO went on to retain his WWE Universal title. Can we all say hallelujah? Dale, what's your thoughts on this one, man?
All right, so I know that we have begun a discussion into the career unfoldings of Roman Reigns and trying to find a moment where he can qualify for a top match of the month where a weapon wasn't involved. Here he is, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns
we're going back and forth
from the Royal Rumble, but it was no disqualification matches. Weapons were involved. We found one moment where maybe it was Roman Reigns and AJ Styles. All right, so he's got one against AJ Styles.
Yeah, just one.
So
just one so far. I don't think there's going to be very many more.
Yeah, I know Roman has things that he does and does well, but it's so select, and he literally has to be, to me, carried by certain guys. Because obviously we've had feuds with Bray Wyatt that didn't pan out so well. That's kind of a knock. That's a knock on both guys, really. I think they kind of aren't to the point where they can carry a match. Just like Kevin Owens helps carry along Roman Reigns, AJ Styles. But yeah, back to this match. It had a little bit of everything. Obviously, you had the pyramid of chairs, and then you had the brutal choke slam by Braun Strowman. Here, Braun's making his appearance again here in another match. The one that he wasn't even originally scheduled to be in. But I just thought that Owens and Reigns in a no disqualification match worked their way around the ring and back again. Just doing what they needed to do to try to eliminate the other guy. You had Superman punches and all of that good stuff that Roman Reigns likes to do. And then, luckily, in the end, Braun saved the day.
Yep. Yes, he did. And it's funny because you said around the ring and back again. You kind of give a shout-out to the guy you were going back and forth with on Facebook in the conversation about Roman Reigns, our buddy Craig Perkins, the third member of our No Gimmicks podcast team here. So, yeah. That was one of those where, like I said, literally when I saw Braun come out, I knew it meant bad things for Roman Reigns. I knew he was not going to survive that. I almost stood up and rejoiced that KO hung on to the Universal title. So our next match from the top matches of January from the WWE, we move over to across the pond for some action from the UK title championship tourney. We had Tyler Bate taking on Pete Dunne in the finals of that tournament. So Bate was selling the ambush, which had occurred earlier at the hands of Pete Dunne, so he sported kinesiology tape on his shoulder, I believe, throughout the match. This match was a bit on the snug side, especially with some of those forearm chops being traded between the two. Very impressive showing by both men. Tyler Bate was playing the role of the underdog face to a T, and Pete Dunne showed us why he's one of the most underrated heels in the business. In the end, Bate utilizes his Tyler Driver 97 to become the first UK title holder. Dale, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, I thought this one did, as you said, showcased good psychology of Dunne trying to continue to work on the area that he had already injured with Bate. But we gained a new aspect of Tyler Bate's skills when he took to the air a couple times and was able to take down Dunne a little bit. Sorry if you hear some barking. I'm getting distracted by the dogs fighting in the hallway. Yeah,
they're going at it, huh? They're having their own version of the UK.
Yeah, we have moved on to February, and they're trying to throw in their hat for the matches of the next month.
Yeah, tell them not to hog up the spotlight. This is dedicated to the WWE guys right now.
Yeah, but back to this one, I definitely was quite surprised that Bate showed off some aerial skills that he hadn't even shown. Because again, we had 4 matches from these guys over the course of the 2 days, and Tyler and Peter both in this one gave us a different aspect of movesets and just ways to work that we hadn't seen in the previous 3.
Yeah, definitely a solid offering. And like I said, this was kind of like the coming out party for both of these guys here, because I had never heard of either one of them prior to this tourney, and both of them impressive showings out of 2 of them there. So we're moving on here to a match from NXT TakeOver San Antonio, featuring the at the time the title holder Shinsuke Nakamura versus Glorious Bobby Roode for the NXT Heavyweight title. So this was definitely a slow-paced match at the beginning. But over the course of the match, it began to really build up, and things definitely got kicked up a notch. Nakamura took a very nasty spill early on, going heads over heels backwards to the outside. Roode, being the heel, of course, took advantage of Nakamura's misfortune after he missed the knee attack to the outside, and he attacked his knee relentlessly. Nakamura displayed much fighting spirit and fought to the very end, but it just was not enough. Roode lands a second glorious DDT to capture his first NXT title. Dale, your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely, as you said, slow-paced to begin with. And I had kind of texted you, because this one started with 13 minutes to go before the 2-hour kind of window that normally NXT takeovers have.
Yes,
and I was
did.
like, either we're going long or this match isn't going to go very long. And we got about halfway through, and it was still slow trotting between just some nice chain work and some basic change of positions, and obviously a lot of powdering by Bobby Roode, or running to the ropes to break some holds from Shinsuke. And I was like, wow, this match has got to pick up here, or we're going long. And then obviously it went long. And then we saw some.
Yes, it did.
And then we ended up getting a showcase of both guys. Some nice, solid, strong physicality between the two. It's like, what Nakamura brings when he starts throwing kicks and knees around. And you saw that Bobby Roode was able to withstand it. And then you even got a middle rope Kinshasa that didn't seal the deal, because obviously that one followed up after Nakamura had the issues with the knee. And then obviously we know the psychology of Bobby Roode working on the knee and then finishing the deal. And I also just thought it was a kind of a key point, because I think coming out of this match, everybody was like, all right, is the knee injury with Nakamura real or not? And I was like, well, I think this one is not real, but they had to have a way that if Nakamura was going to lose to Roode, people weren't going to expect him in the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. Good point there. Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see, what the future lies for Nakamura, because I think, it's only a matter of time before he makes that jump to the main roster and shows up on either Raw or SmackDown Live. So moving on here to our next match from top match from the month of January. Let's talk about Seth Rollins, who took on Sami Zayn on the Raw Go Home show for the Royal Rumble. Two of the top talents, not only on the Raw brand, but on the WWE roster as a whole. This was a bit of an anomaly, as we got to see two faces wage war upon one another. Definitely some good storytelling and some good in-ring action out of these two, but in the end it was a distraction provided by the game Triple H's theme music, which led for Sami Zayn to capture the victory and also secure his spot in the 2017 Royal Rumble. Unfortunately, this is possibly the last time that we will get to see Seth Rollins compete in a WWE ring for a while, at least after recently learning about his surgically repaired knee getting injured for a second time. Dale, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was like, here we go. We're listing Seth Rollins. Sami Zayn's back in the January countdown, and Seth Rollins is literally what right now is his final match until a unknown amount of time before he returns again. This was essentially his last match that we've seen him in, because he lost and was removed from the Royal Rumble.
Right.
To further along the storyline with the Triple H that I don't know if we're going to have a resolution to. But the big takeaway from this one was the pedigree on the apron to Sami Zayn, which was
brutal.
It just further goes along to, since we've had the rise of the indie guys through NXT and WWE, we have started to see a lot of the apron bumps a lot more, and those are not a easy.
Copious.
Those are not a easy bump to take, because that is the hardest part of the ring, and and definitely
as we both know,
you earn that spot if you come out of that not feeling a little different.
Yeah. What a shame. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where they say, can lightning really strike twice in the same place? And it's looking like that's what happened. This guy just cannot buy a break. It's sad because, like I said, he's one of the strongest talents on the WWE roster, someone who I really enjoy watching. I was looking forward to seeing the feud between him and Triple H, so we could just only hope and pray that it's nothing too severe and that he will get back in the ring sometime soon, and that feud with Triple H will resume.
Yeah, that feud may now miss its second WrestleMania.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that. It truly is, man. So moving on here to Roger Strong, who took on Andrade Cien Almas at NXT TakeOver San Antonio. Battle between former members of Los Ingobernables and the Generation Net stable. Both guys really benefited from a strong showing here, no pun intended. But in order to make progress towards the goal of being in the NXT main event scene, hopefully in the near future for both guys, we saw this sheer physicality and usage of the Backbreaker versus the high-flying lucha style of Cien Almas. In the end, the Messiah of the Backbreaker did not utilize the Backbreaker, but outlasted the flamboyant high flyer from the south of the border by putting him away with a sit kick. Dale, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I just thought this one, obviously it beat out to me Shinsuke and Bobby for a match of NXT San Antonio. This one, and I think a lot of it is this one just didn't have the slow beginning. These two started strong with the physicality, the knee strikes and the kicks and the uppercuts and they just kept it going all the way through. And then obviously we had the strong hit Cien with the backbreaker on the top rope, and then just a bunch of varying other very, very strong style moves. It's like nothing too much came here that wasn't.
That one made me cringe.
Some type of strong element to this match, and obviously, every time we keep saying strong and strong for Roderick, it's, you got to make sure you're saying what's strong is where.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I agree with you. I truly do. This match was underrated, and I would say my favorite two matches of NXT TakeOver San Antonio were that match and, believe it or not, the match featuring DIY and Authors of Pain. Those two matches delivered. And I actually thought that was probably the best showing we had seen out of Authors of Pain so far in the NXT ring. So, yeah, definitely a solid offering out of those guys. And like I said, especially with some of the call-ups that are going to be happening, with Nakamura. Joe's already made the jump. And then Roode eventually will make that jump as well, too. Look for Roddy to, make his way up there to that main event spot in the not-too-distant future. So moving on here, we're going to take a flight across the pond once again here for the UK title championship tourney. Mark Andrews, a.k.a. Mandrews, taking on Pete Dunne in the semifinals of the tournament. Definitely a contrast of styles on display here. You have the high-flying, charismatic Mark Andrews versus the nasty, hard-hitting technical submission specialist Pete Dunne. Andrews was the fan favorite here, and my personal pick to win the whole entire thing coming into this, but a lot of that was due to me not having much knowledge of the other competitors involved in the tourney. One of my favorite matches of the tourney, it really received a very favorable reaction from the crowd over there in Blackpool, England, and in the end, was Dunne who put Andrews away with that bitter end, which is possibly one of my new favorite finishers in wrestling. You agree with me on that one, right, Dale?
Oh, yeah. Pete Dunne kind of gained my support with that finishing maneuver, for sure. And then, obviously, this one, you kind of had the British strong style of Dunne to the British aerial assault of Mark Andrews, who no one...
Yes.
When it came to the aerial game of the UK tourney, Mark Andrews is the guy you're going to put at the top of that list, and he definitely showcased all of his aerial skill, and I think this is probably his best effort all around was in this match with Pete Dunne.
Agreed. It surpassed anything I saw from him over there in Impact. Yeah. This guy, he's a star in the making. So I'm not sure what the hell the WWE plans to do with that UK title. I guess from what you were telling me earlier, I guess that Tyler Bate actually showed up at NXT. Is that correct?
Yeah. He is on the very first episode of the month of February.
Okay. So, yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens with these guys because there definitely was some good talent in that tournament. There was also a lot of filler as well, though. But I definitely would like to see Mandrews, more of him in the WWE ring in the near future. So moving on here to our next match, top match from the month of January for WWE. We have DIY taking on the Revival for the NXT tag titles. Typical stuff from out of these guys. Two tag teams that never failed to deliver. Definitely some innovative tag team offense on display here from both sides with plenty of near falls. And in the end, DIY utilized their running knee super kick combo to secure the win and retain their NXT tag titles. Dale, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's kind of what really else can we add to DIY versus the Revival that you haven't seen in the rivalry that took place much of the end of 2016 and then kind of capped itself off here with this match that saw DIY retain to get the unfortunate task of facing the Authors of Pain at TakeOver San Antonio, and then met the undefeated force that is the AOP, and now DIY's title reign did not last all that long, and so
it's sad,
which is unfortunate. I like both of those guys, but it will be interesting to see now with those two as they move forward. I'm pretty sure they'll get another shot at the AOP, but considering they were career indie singles competitors just thrown together for NXT, we'll see how long they remain together as DIY. But yeah, that's just the thing. Again, like I said, not trying to shortchange DIY and Revival here. You can't do it. But just these guys just absolutely stole the show every single time the bell rang. And it was DIY versus the Revival. You're like, oh, this match, you already know this match is gonna come to the end of the month. We're gonna be talking about the encounter that these two had, and here we are again. It's January, and boom, there it is.
Yeah, two quick takes from me on this one. It's unfortunate because I think DIY was gonna get a feud against TM61. I thought I'd heard that, but then unfortunately, Shane Thorne, he suffered a pretty severe injury, and he's going to miss several months of time.
No, that was going to be it was TM61 and the Revival.
Oh, was it going to be TM61? That makes more sense. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here, try to save myself on this one, I don't know what's next for either team. I really don't know what's next for DIY, if they split up or if they stay together. And then for the Authors of Pain, I don't know who the hell they fight next since they've already beat just about everyone. So I'm not sure what's next on the horizon for those guys. So it should definitely be interesting to see who will get their first defeat against. Moving on here now to our top match from the month of January from the WWE. We had the phenomenal AJ Styles taking on John Cena for the WWE Heavyweight title at the 2017 Royal Rumble. So not just a top match of January, but right now, I could say this match is a qualifier for match of the year for 2017. It'll definitely be in that discussion at the end of the year. AJ and John have had, impressive series of matches, which always leaves the members of the WWE Universe wanting more. I love the fact that these two not only brought out the best of one another, but also utilized everything, not only in their own movesets, but each other's as well. In the end, Cena proves that he could hit his attitude adjustment from just about anywhere to defeat AJ Styles and tie the Nature Boy Ric Flair, by capturing his 16th World Heavyweight title. Dale, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it definitely had its fair share of the near falls with the two Styles classes that AJ hit that couldn't put away John Cena. Multiple attitude adjustments from John Cena that couldn't put away AJ. A top rope attitude adjustment, for example, that didn't finish the deal. And then obviously it took the AA into a roll, and then the great job of John Cena to show the power to be able to roll through and then do a squat and pick up and transition AJ
impressive.
into another attitude adjustment that had the finish. But this is just, again, a top showcase of two guys that just through the way that they can put spots together and coordinate how they want to put their match together, it just flows. It's like these guys' transitions are so smooth, as I had touched on when we broke down the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. There was the attitude adjustment John Cena went for that AJ Styles slid off the back and rolled him into the calf crusher. So yeah,
that was pretty slick.
These two guys they bring out the best in each other, and definitely elevated the game of both guys.
Yes. Another pairing there that never disappoints every time that they have the opportunity to step in the ring against one another. So, basically, those have been our top matches from the WWE for the month of January. We are no gimmicks, no image, all wrestling all the time. Thank you for joining us for this edition of the No Gimmicks Podcast. Please visit our official YouTube channel. You can find us at www.youtube.com/The No Gimmicks Podcast. If you would like to receive our notifications when we release our new episodes, then please subscribe. We would like to hear from our viewers, so please leave us some feedback in our comments section on our official YouTube channel. Also, please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at the No Gimmicks PC. Be on the lookout for my updates on my personal LinkedIn account weekly, usually on Monday afternoons. Also, check out Craig Perkins' weekly article featured on ProWrestling.com. And remember, sharing is caring. Feel free to share the links to our episodes with other pro wrestling fans on your social media accounts as well. That does it for this episode of No Gimmicks Podcast. For my tag team partner Dale Clifford in Fernley, Nevada, this is Todd Smith in Bristol, Connecticut signing off. Until next time around, y'all take care.